hours or so, and whether it's working for the U.S. or creating a bunch of strategic boomeranging blowbacks that were perhaps unintended but now problematic. Eric, to start, can you describe the blockade as it now stands around the strait?
So as I mentioned before, the U.S. Navy is positioned outside the Strait of Hormuz, kind of waiting for any ships bound for Iranian ports. So what President Trump is calling a blockade is really more of a quarantine. They're monitoring these ships using drones, using other open source information about where these ships are coming from or where they're going to. And if there's a suspect ship, they can get on the radio and basically call and determine if that's a ship that they might need to board. And if it got to that point, they could actually send boarding parties aboard. These would be Marines or specially trained Navy personnel, could be Navy SEALs. They could arrive by boat. They could come by helicopter and fast rope down onto these ships to inspect the cargo. This would really be only if the ships continue apace. One of the reasons why you have this blockade or quarantine is really to set a deterrent. And what we're now waiting for to see if there's any Iranian-backed ships that dare them.
Well, so far, are any ships carrying Iranian oil, the thing the U.S. blockade is meant to stop, are any of those ships getting through the strait since this blockade started?
The short answer, Michael, is it appears not. The Central Command, which oversees the U.S. military operations in this part of the world, issued a statement 24 hours into the blockade saying that there had been no interdictions, there had been no violations of the blockade. And in fact, there had been 6 vessels coming out of Iranian ports on the Gulf of Oman, on the Iranian coast, that had turned around after they'd been contacted by U.S. Navy ships. So the U.S. military is pointing to that to say, look, this is working so far for the ships that we want it to affect.
So in these very early hours and I guess few days of this blockade, this is succeeding if you're President Trump and the U.S. military.
Well, I'd say it's succeeding halfway. It looks like for now, he has stopped the Iranians from shipping oil out and thus fueling their economy and their government. What we don't know yet, Michael, is can the commerce that's been bottled up in the Gulf, ships that belong to the UAE or other Arab states who are trying to ship their oil and cargo out, can they get past the Iranians so that the U.S. can free them out to the rest of the world? And that's what the future of the global economy in the next few months may depend on.
Well, right.
Will it depend on?
This is ultimately a blockade by the U.S. of a blockade by Iran, which makes it really messy.
Started because Trump attacked them. Because Putin had Trump attack them.
Does this mean that no oil is going to be getting out?
Yeah, sounds like it. Enjoy the stock market existing while it did.
Give shippers the confidence
last day or two
to make that run.
Okay, we'll discuss that right after we take a very short break.
Why don't we discuss getting rid of Donna Kaptinsky and his cronies, whatever few cronies he has left.
The Daily is supported by Bayer.
And just
Stripes,
examining why all these people let Putin's plan to destroy America through Trump go this far. Like,
and skillfully investigated. The Daily brings listeners today's stories.
At some point, we're going to investigate all this stuff, and it's all going to come out. How much Putin was trying to destroy America, got Trump to do the job. Trump is doing the job, and nobody's stopping him. Nobody's doing the first thing to stop him. They're just, talking about it like we're all spectators, because I guess they've given up on the idea of democracy or ideas in general.
Wide open expanses, this kind of unspoiled, raw nature, kind of savage character to it.
Hear the music, see classic artworks on the big screen, take in the stories.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just enjoy all those things without the fascism?
June 16th at the Denver Art Museum. Tickets are just $25 at CPR.
Fascism not actually required for that or anything else that's good. Nothing relies on fascism. Nothing's dependent on fascism. I mean, yeah, the system as it exists, we can have all the nice things from the system without anything that's dependent upon fascism. In the fucking fascism.
a shelf for somebody to
That
buy.
That might mean ending war. That might be ending some other things, but yeah, let's do it.
That's at 9 on CPR News and KRCC.
They're talking about the war.
This is the
No, I'm obviously
For the past 2
anti-fascist.
days,
What the fuck is
United
wrong with
States has
you?
enforced a risky naval blockade of Iran designed to end the war on American terms. I spoke with White House
You started the war.
David Sanger,
They're not American terms. They're
energy
Trump
reporter
and Putin's
Rebecca
terms.
Elliott,
And Netanyahu's or AI Netanyahu's.
Eric Schmidt.
Eric Schmidt.
So
let's
talk about
pause
what's
really
happening to
long,
everyone
unnecessarily
else
long.
in the
Everyone
world
else in the
when
world.
it
Let's
comes
act like
to this
William
blockade.
Shatner's
If you are the
Spawn.
UAE, if you are the United States, if
If
you're
you're
Russia,
Russia.
what does this
Well, just-
blockade mean?
oh,
to
say
you
Russia.
so far? Do we have any intelligence about whether
Oh, let's
cargo
just throw
ships
Russia out
are
there like it's just
seeing
any
the
other
US
country.
blockade as a safety net that lets them get through the strait?
Well, just before coming on the program, a U.S. official told me that as many as 20 commercial vessels have now been able to transit through the strait in the
Yeah,
first 24 hours.
because they
or
paid
so.
off who?
Now, the official didn't describe exactly what kind of ships, but it's
He has these dismissive
of tankers,
Oh,
cargo ships,
assume.
and other things. But we really need more detail.
You don't
This
know.
is an early indication
But
of
everybody else has
broader
been saying ships have been
stream,
going
like Rebecca
through.
said, of shippers who are
But they ain't
now
stopped
more
anybody. The
confident that they've been
blockade
on
that
the
supposedly
dock
had
than they
stopped
were before.
ships for
Or
2
if it's
days
just a
didn't stop
momentary
anything.
spurt
That's what they were
of
claiming
getting
earlier on
through
the
the US
news.
Navy standing by that
Hello.
doesn't have a long-term effect.
Becca, what are your sources telling
Just
you
mocking the
about
daily.
the trepidation level
The
of
trepidation
the captains
level
of these
of
ships and
the captains of these ships and the
that own
companies
them and have to
own
pay
them
the
and
insurance level
pay the insurance
that they're
levels.
paying now to try to go through the strait?
I would say it's very high. And increasingly, the people I speak with are starting to ask not what is it going to take to reopen the strait,
To stop Trump,
but
the
will
threat.
the strait ever go back to the way it
Well,
was
whatever
before the
happens,
war,
stop Trump,
when
the
there
threat.
was free passage, no toll, and
So there's tolls now.
relatively little risk of being attacked.
Maybe you should have stopped Trump
And
sooner.
many people
There
think
wouldn't be tolls.
probably not.
I'm with Rebecca. I don't think that you're going to see it go back to the way it was anytime soon, because the Iranians have discovered this kind of superpower they have. They had never before tried to control the strait, and suddenly they
Why are Trump
discovered
Putin here
that
so
after much of
homophobic
their
and
military
gay
had been
themselves?
destroyed,
Like
they
closeted
have the
gay
ability, just by dropping
Trump
a few
Putiners, every
mines
single one of you.
or threatening ships with shoulder-fired missiles, to basically bottle up everything that's in the Persian Gulf. So we have heard a
And
couple
win.
of proposals. At one point, President Trump
Just get rid of
just
Trump.
briefly
There's a proposal.
suggested
I
that
proposed
maybe
something for
it
you.
would be run
Yank
by
Trump.
him and the new Ayatollah
Ain't shit gonna be run by him.
Serious proposals
Except for maybe
about creating a kind of
the
international
jail betting
consortium
pool.
that not only monitored what was going through, but maybe charged
Look,
and divided up the
you ain't need-
tolls.
you
could
don't need
imagine
some
Iran
board
would
of
be a part
peace.
that.
No,
Oman,
Iran
which is
is
right
already running the
across
strait.
other
Stop
side of the
acting like you
strait.
can just decide
The
other
United
people should run
States,
it.
which would be providing security, and then you could
Security?
imagine bringing
Why?
in
What the fuck
any
you
number
talking
of
about?
countries that are dependent on what's traveling through the
Security
strait,
from what?
starting
People
with
used to
China,
just
maybe
travel
even
through it
India,
until
and of
Trump
course the
fucked it up.
Europeans.
How can
Now,
you
that
keep
would
talking like you're
require
fucking
a
experts,
level
but
of
you're not
international
acknowledging what the fuck just
cooperation
happened?
and diplomatic sharing
Yeah.
of power that so far the Trump administration has not shown a great interest in around the world.
I saw Trump's
So,
blasphemous
David and Rebecca,
picture.
what you seem to both be saying is that
What you
at
both
the
be
end of this
saying?
conflict, the strait will never again be like the Atlantic Ocean or like the Pacific Ocean and be a free international waterway in which
You made them
commerce
have to
occurs pretty
militarize
much
it.
unimpeded and free.
Never say never, but that is certainly
What seems to be
something
the case
that more
because
and
of
more
what Trump
people
did.
are facing at this moment. And when we're talking about the oil market and energy demand, that leads in a few different directions.
Yeah, how do you start to plan around a world where maybe the strait is told to a degree that's not tolerable? Doesn't that require a whole new level of alternatives?
I would divide it into three general buckets. One is the possibility of building more alternative routes from Gulf countries to world markets that get around the Strait of Hormuz. We already have a couple of those options in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and they have been helping to get oil out to a very big degree
Those
during this
shipping
war.
alternatives or pipelines?
Pipelines.
Hmm.
Now, that is complicated as well. There are only a certain number of countries that are able to get oil from one coast to another without running across another country's territory.
Right.
So then you get into the cooperation conversation again. That's one bucket. Another bucket is, does this increase demand for oil elsewhere in the world that you can get without running the risk of going through the strait? And the third is, whenever oil is more expensive, it makes alternatives more attractive. And those alternatives include nuclear energy, solar power, batteries. And we're already seeing many of those conversations pick up around the world.
I think that's exactly what could happen. And of course, it's been different wars, different conflicts that have shaped our energy status in the past. But the way I try to think about this in the short term is that we are now entering a contest over which country, the United States or Iran, can endure the pain of this blockade over the next few months. The Iranians are betting that it's Trump who is going to have to back off, because the closer we get to the midterm elections, with gas prices going up, and now the president saying, and the energy secretary saying, they may stay up through the rest of the year.
Right.
That's a big political problem for the Republican Party and for Donald Trump and for his remaining term, because if he loses both the House and the Senate, in part because of high energy prices, his domestic agenda is basically going to be over. The U.S. has a different bet, which is what they failed to do militarily in 38 or 39 days of war, they can finish off economically. And the fact of the matter is, if anybody tells you they know which side is not going to be able to withstand the pain first, I'm not sure I believe them yet.
Eric, final question to you. How sustainable is this blockade if it lasts for a while?
Well, the Pentagon has said that it can sustain this blockade as long as the president needs to. The problem is it would come at a cost of what the military has to do elsewhere around the world. It has already drawn away ships and munitions that are badly needed in the Indo-Pacific to possibly counter China, to deal with North Korea and a conflict there. They're also pulling away interceptors and other bombs and missiles from the European command, which could possibly have gone to Ukraine. This blockade operation alone has drawn in some 10,000 U.S. Navy, Marine Corps, and other service personnel. The overall operation has caught about more than 50,000 if they have to remain focused on this region, because we don't know for sure that hostilities won't break out and the president won't resume dropping bombs and missiles on Iran.
And I think it would be very hard for President Trump to go back in and conduct the kind of military operation that he ran for 38 days. His base was fragmenting over it. Congress was clearly frustrated that they had never been consulted, much less asked for a war declaration. Allies were not coming to America's aid. But it's not only President Trump who understands that. The Iranians understand it too. They also want to have this war over because the effects on them and on an economy that was fragile before the fighting started has got to be huge. And so now the question is not whether or not the war ends, but on whose terms it ends.
David, Eric, Rebecca, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Tuesday afternoon, the leaders of France and Britain said they would develop their own plan to oppose Hormuz. The plan involves a broad coalition of governments.
Quit the
Is
illegal
expected
war
to
you
begin
started.
after the war is over, and may exclude the United States.
Why shouldn't it exclude the United States? What the fuck did we have to do with it other than we attacked that country? Well, Trump and Putin attacked that country.
The Daily is supported
Got
by Progressive.
American soldiers, formerly American soldiers, to attack that country. They became Trump-Putineers. Became killers for the goddamn Trumpstein class. And that's how Americans feel about them.
Information available at progressivecommercial.com. Go deeper into the day's most pressing stories with New York Times journalists, trusted sources, and the people affected.
All right, we're
The Daily
about to do the
from
news.
New York Times, distributed by
The-
American Public Media.
The Daily.
The Daily
The
is
Daily.
powered by the journalism of the New York Times and is distributed by APM,
American Public Media.
You can go deeper into the stories
Deep
here
into the
on
story. Here on
at
the
nytimes.com/the
Daily. How many pauses in obnoxious ways? How many pauses in obnoxious ways that I can't stand? It might just be the way he talks, but it seems like it's very ways that I can't stand. It might just be the way he talks, but it seems like it's very true. For a so-called president who's pal Putin.
Women said they're happy with these. Like, wanted to stay in power. One mother immediately. And I want this war to continue until the immediately. And I want this war to continue until the regime topples. For my parents, I'm very scared. And Don, Turkey.
The White House says it feels good about the prospects of the deal to bring the Iran war to an end. Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the U.S. has not agreed to extend the ceasefire.
I saw some reports.
Today to attempt to arrange a second round of negotiations. California Supreme Court to arrange a second round of negotiations. California Supreme Court has ruled that one of President Trump's former election lawyers must lose his license to practice law. President Trump nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary illegally monopolized big concert venues. The jury decided on Wednesday on claims from dozens of states that Live Nation is a monopoly that costs concert goers and sport fans. A lawyer for the states called it a great day for antitrust law. Live Nation is promising to appeal in a joint statement. The U.S. Refugee and Migration Agency said the trawler sank. Often restricting foreign goods to drop each neighboring countries. The UN said with information at the sea and keep them about a week ago. When the Asian are leading Korea more than 2%, following United States.
And that's what we've been doing.
Hear the birds in the back. Hear the birds in the back.
Because we both live in more. Hello and welcome to Planet Money from Aaron Ferris. Hello and welcome to Planet Money from Aaron Ferris. The long, winding economic experiment that is Cuba has an extremely uncertain future.
Yasser's parents grew up in communist Cuba.
Today on the show,
You're suggesting that's because there's less capitalism?
Railroads, hotels, casinos.
Became the mother of all embargoes on Cuba. The U.S. could be exported to Cuba.
So at the outset, Cuba's economic
Or less than it was worth.
they also got access
Or less than it was worth.
to an island 90 miles away from their mortal enemy, the United States.
And for a few decades, yeah,
Could've just
it worked.
prevented
Cuba
that
was
being
poor, but
necessary in making that
collaboration with the
relationship.
Soviets kept it going.
Even poor in Cuba,
Kept it going.
they had things called
Yeah.